some fucking girl says on Twitter, Hook is what? Stokely, I hate your bald ass so much. And then Big Stoke on Twitter goes, wow, Hook will pay for his crimes. It was confirmed that there was a forearm fracture which required a cast. I am distraught. I rolled dice with my left hand, so I'm please don't make me sue this company, Tony Khan. Please, you know that a portrait of your father that's hanging in your office? Well, once I own this company, I'm replacing it with a big-ass photo of James Brown. Yep. Every time you see the Godfather of Soul sweating in drug-fueled rage at the Apollo, you're gonna think of me. Sounds pretty miserable, bro. Do the right thing. Punish this little bastard Hook and write me a fat check. By the way, here's a photo of me with my best friend Al Sharpton. It means absolutely nothing, by the way. Blushing face. But somebody tweeted, he tweeted, Hook is a piece of shit, and then somebody tweeted this. Some woman, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jack. Oh wait, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jacked. 6'3" bro he met until they pulled their first back to beat him up. Whereupon my ex would go, hey, come on. I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. No, it's just also my birthday. I'm a birthday boy. It somehow always worked. And then Stokely just quote tweets it. F you. Antonio Brown, but who the f***'s in the background? It's Hook. It's fucking Hook. And then he's getting twerked on by some fucking broad. My t-shirt money is now in the ass crack of some fucking stripper. So thanks, Hook. But I don't. But Jesus Christ, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Clip it.
Oh, but
actually, hey, it worked out in the long run.
I actually do hope they make another season actually, because I would love to see the American Dragon on Total Bellas start memeing on John Laurinaitis. You have live footage of John Laurinaitis in his living room calling somebody in his underwear saying, "Hey, bud, you're fired."
What did Max Caster say about me?
Like, I'm embarrassed the fact that I'm hosting a post show for this crap.
I'm proud of you, Carl. I love this.
We did our Valentine's Day post of Hooked on You, but it was mainly for Jamie Hayter and only Jamie Hayter.
It's not right. It's not right. I'm trying to build an account and we get this bullshit on the account. Great. But
also follow a simp account.
Okay. Okay, but here's the thing, because those people, this is networking.
We actually follow.
You got
it was a business decision.
It's a business. It's a business. You have to follow these people. This is like following. If you want a stan account, you got to follow the other stans. And when you get big, you get rid of them. You get rid of them after that. It's over with.
I open up our Instagram and the first thing I see is Pro Wrestling Simp, and I'm like, what is this?
I don't look at that. I don't look at that stuff.
Decision.
It's a business decision because that guy promotes us, and then when we don't need him anymore, we toss him aside. That's what happens.
Yeah, well, we got go fucking slap it on a t-shirt and continue to use the move forehead.
Unpretty.
This guy just say fucking forehead.
Switch. What?
This guy say forehead.
Yes, I did.
You think I fucking wouldn't catch that? You think nobody on this program would catch that? But I did. For weird.
You almost didn't.
For weird.
Let's be honest. You almost didn't.
Weird champ. Weird champ. This is what we resort to here.
All right. Next up.
Unbelievable. Five head.
Next up, we have.
Why people happy? Pagu. Weird champ. For weird. Forehead.
Oh god.
Franker faces.
Oh.
Wowie. Why people sad. What else?
Look at how red my face is.
What else we got? Let me go on Twitch right quick. Okay.
Why?
Why do people happy? KW, LOLW, XQCL.
All right. The Acclaim promo now. You were backstage.
Okay.
They're just like, yo, we're It's not gonna be a triple. It's not gonna be a
Yo,
normal.
dude, we're gonna do a fatal four-way poggers, bro. Thanks for the fucking
God.
bits.
Fuck. Damn it! Jump off a roof.
Well, they just lost Gunther, so I don't know how that is gonna survive. But what's it called? But the Third Reich faction. That's the Imperium's gonna turn to the Third Reich now. But he posted a picture on Twitter with Sean Dean. He's got his castle. It says justice on it. And then somebody says Hook is some fucking girl says on Twitter, Hook is what? Stokely, I hate your ball ass so much. And then Big Stoke on Twitter goes, wow, Hook will pay for his crimes. It was confirmed that there was a forearm fracture which required a cast. I am distraught. I rolled dice with my left hand, so I'm please don't make me sue this company, Tony Khan. Please, you know that a portrait of your father that's hanging in your office? Well, once I own this company, I'm replacing it with a big-ass photo of James Brown. Yep. Every time you see the Godfather of Soul sweating in a drug-fueled rage at the Apollo, you're gonna think of me. Sounds pretty miserable, bro. Do the right thing. Punish this little bastard Hook and write me a fat check. By the way, here's a photo of me with my best friend Al Sharpton. It means absolutely nothing, by the way. Blushing face. But somebody tweeted, he tweeted, Hook is a piece of shit. And then somebody tweeted this. Some woman, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jacked. 6'3" bro he met until they pulled their first back to beat him up. Whereupon my ex would go, hey, come on. I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. No, it's just also my birthday. I'm a birthday boy. It somehow always worked. And then Stokely just quote tweets it. Fuck you. Tony Brown, but who the fuck's in the background? It's Hook. It's fucking Hook. And then he's getting twerked on by some fucking broad. My t-shirt money is now in the ass crack of some fucking stripper. So thanks, Hook. But I don't. But Jesus Christ, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Clip it. Oh
but
actually, hey, it worked out in the long run.
I actually do hope they make another season, actually, because I would love to see the American Dragon on Total Bellas start memeing on John Laurinaitis. You have live footage of John Laurinaitis in his living room calling somebody in his underwear saying, "Hey, bud, you fired."
What did Max Caster say about me?
Like I'm embarrassed the fact that I'm hosting a post show for this crap.
I'm proud of you, Carl. I love this.
We did our Valentine's Day post of Hooked on You, but it was mainly for Jamie Hayter and only Jamie Hayter.
It's not right. It's not right. I'm trying to build an account and we get this bullshit on the account. Great. But
also follow a simp account.
Okay, but here's the thing, because those people, this is networking. This is
we actually networking. Follow.
Audio. It's Wednesday, guys. You know what that means. It's time for your weekly dose of the pro wrestling injection right here on the Sports Hit List by the fans. Not on the Sports Hit. I keep on saying that because it's in the back of my brain constantly. Listen, Mike. It's in the back of my head constantly.
This is like 3 out of 4 weeks where we've had a screw up within the first like 5 seconds.
When you record so many intros for so many years.
Oh,
some of
trust
them
me,
get
I
jumbled
understand.
up, like hell.
I understand.
I just shit. So I need to. Guess I'll turn that on. Let me also just fix this. But yes, it is a Wednesday, guys. You know what that means. It's time for your weekly dose of the Pro Wrestling Injection right here on the Pro Wrestling Injection YouTube and Twitch. As always, I'm here joined by my illustrious panel of co-hosts. To my right, we have Mr. Marathon himself, Mike, and then down below we have the Goon. I am the Outlaw of Long Island, Zach, Droll, and yeah. All right,
How you doing?
so I'm tired. I'd start work in a week, finally.
Hey, nice.
So, yeah.
That took a while. Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So, without further ado, let's just get into the news that we always have. First up on the docket, we have Warner Brothers Discovery is really happy with AEW, and they are looking to expand that that pay-per-view schedule.
Yeah, so it was a lot more than just that, but um, basically the report that came out today was that Warner Bros. Discovery and AEW have been in deep negotiations for a rights extension, which will happen. I mean, they wouldn't have gave them Collision if there wasn't going to be an extension or a new contract where they get more money.
Yeah.
So that's going to be happening. But they have spoken about wanting to increase their pay-per-view schedule. When and utilize their streaming services when they do that. A lot of people who don't know that what they use now, Bleacher Report, is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. So that's why they are able to dictate these types of things. Just like how basically most WWE pay-per-views are. Um, they're allowed to what's it called do their own pay-per-view schedules type stuff, but like when it comes to the draft and stuff like that, they're allowed to like say, oh, Fox really wants Roman Reigns on their show, so it's something like that where the network has a little bit of pull. but um but yeah, it's something to think about because obviously an increased pay-per-view schedule would be very different for AEW because they've mostly honed in on a 4 to 5 event schedule. Um, Obviously, an increased pay per view schedule in this country works. I mean, WWE's been doing it for years. Impact did it for years. So you could have like 11, 12 events a year, but with AEW, I don't think that's going to be the case. When they say increase the schedule, I could really, I see it more like maybe 7 or 8 6, 7, 8 events because there's already 6 events in the AEW calendar so far. You got All Out, Revolution, Double or Nothing, Full Gear, Forbidden Door, and now All In. Um, Depending on how All In shakes up and if that's going to be an annual thing, but I could see them doing some stuff, basically promoting like maybe Grand Slam or Fighter Fest or um, uh, what was the other one? Like the Road Rager show they did, the all their specialty like televised shows, like Winter is Coming, like promoting them to a basically a full on pay-per-view or not like a more like maybe like a mini pay-per-view that's on a streaming service. Maybe not as big as like the 4 main cards, maybe like the four well the 5 now will be like WWE's Mania, SummerSlam, Rumble, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series,
Yeah.
and then they'll fill in other stuff with smaller ones like Grand Slam and Winter is Coming and Fighter Fest and stuff like that. So it's a wait and see. But yeah, that was a little piece of news. The other pieces of news that we have Jeff Hardy. He was announced that he's going to be coming to GCW, not to wrestle. He will not be wrestling in GCW, but he will be making an appearance in GCW, which is pretty cool because a lot of those wrestlers in GCW and a lot of the fans of GCW, I mean, came up on Jeff Hardy. I mean, those. If you had to describe Jeff Hardy fans, those would probably be those type of people. So Jeff Hardy will be coming to GCW. We had a sad story today. WWE posted a tweet that Mantar passed away. If you know anything about Mantar, a lot of people say it's one of the goofiest, one of the worst gimmicks of all time. I always personally thought the suit was cool. Even as a kid, when I saw Mantar for the first time, I'm like, dude, that thing is pretty fucking sick. But yeah, he ended up passing away today. So condolences to his family.
Yes.
And yeah, the last piece of news here is that the G1 rule set is it's kind of taken a shakeup, which was expected because of the field. The field is, I mean, obviously it's the biggest G1 field there has been. There's 32 people. But however, the G1 field, since there's 32 contestants, and basically there's gonna be bigger cards without as because they usually do um like the preliminary tag matches before the block matches. I don't think they're doing any preliminary matches like the best of the Super Juniors. Um because they just got rid of those and just started doing block matches, which I prefer. I mean, those guys don't need to be wrestling every day, um, like they have been. But it's been so since there's 32, there's gonna be each show up until like the final nights of block action is gonna feature 8 matches, and it's just an assortment of A, B, C, and D block. But yeah, Takami Obari, the president of New Japan, tweeted out basically some of the new rule changes for the G1, and the biggest one of them all is that the time limit has been lowered from 30 minutes to 20 minutes, and that's a casualty of the more blocks, more competitors, and bigger cards. But yeah, so the G1 press conference, there hasn't been anything said about that. I don't know when that is or if they're even doing one, because it depends on if guys can get here or not. But yeah, so the what's it called? The time limit has been lowered down to 20 minutes. I'm trying to find the tweet that says it, but yeah, the time limit has been lowered to 20 minutes. They're gonna have the first episode, the first 2 G1 block nights are going to be free on New Japan World. You do not have to sign up. You do not have to pay for anything. You do not have to do anything. You can just go on the website and they'll be on there for free once the show's over with. But yeah,
if we
so
do want to make a
I mean,
strong,
yeah.
just a recommendation: get New Japan World. It's cheap. You won't regret it. So yeah, that's
yeah,
my promotion for it.
let me just get the official rundown here. But yeah, the G1's going to be going through July 15th to July 15th to August 12th is the finals, I believe. August 12th to 13th. So you're not going to see like Eddie Kingston in AEW Ring of Honor until then. But as I'm trying to just find the complete the transcript on the change here. But yeah, I'm not sure, but all I know is that yeah, time limit has been lowered, and that's the reason why most of it. I'm gonna try to find the tweet as we keep going, then I'll chime in. But yeah, there was a little bit more rules, but that's the major one, that the time limit has been changed.
All right, I'm down for it. I really don't mind it.
Yeah, a lot of the G1 matches don't go past 15 minutes, but the ones that do go longer in like 30 minutes, like that's where the heightened drama comes in. So I can see why some people are upset, but I mean, this really shouldn't be that much of an issue.
And now, I guess that's it. On the news week?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Wow, a short news week finally.
For once.
So I guess let's just jump right on into AEW Dynamite, coming to you from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Saskatoon,
whatever. Who the fuck cares? It's Canada.
Hey, dude, Saskatoon. That's a cool name for a
It's
town.
Canada.
Okay?
Who cares?
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. That's a cool name.
It's Canada. Who cares?
That's how I usually feel.
We open up today's show with Jericho taking on Commander. Hey man, like Jericho definitely has gotten better. He's not as pudgy and slow in the ring as he was even a year ago. He's gotten better. Commander never misses in his matches.
I feel like it was 2 years ago, because didn't he cut all the weight like late 2021?
Yeah, because if you look at his current model in Fight Forever, that's what he used to look like. Like he was built as Ricky Stark said, he was built like an air fryer.
I forgot he said that.
But yeah, this match was just stupid fun. Jericho picked up the win by locking in the walls. Jericho,
Yeah.
or was it the Lion Tamer? I can't really.
It was a lion tamer. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I think that I like watching Jericho get in there with guys that are far into him. Like I love when he does these types of matches because whoever thought you'd see Commander in there with him. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match because of just it picked up near the finish as well. But I mean, I just love when he like these guys like most not just the WWE guys but mostly the guys who were there in that system for a long time working with some guys that you never think you would see them in the ring with. It's like when Brian went on his run when he was wrestling guys like Brian Cage and Bandito and Takeshita and Roosh and stuff like that. So that's always pretty cool.
Yeah, outside of like 2 rough spots in this match that literally happened back to back, decent match.
Yeah, but Jericho locked in the Lion Tamer. I mentioned this in our chat. I love the transition of Jericho's music fading out just to fade in Don Callis's brooding, someone pushing just one note on a keyboard.
It fits so well.
It's so annoying, but yeah, it fits so well. So Don Callis comes out and goes, "So, do you have an answer yet for me, Jericho? Join the Callis family." Don then also brings out an old clip of him, Jericho, and their mentor, Bad News Allen. I think that's what they call. That's what was his name.
I actually before we get there, I finally found it. That's the other big piece of news about the G1 that is that the way the finals will be set up is a lot different than years past. So the first place of A block will face the second place of C block. Then the first place of B block will verse the second place of D block. And then the first place of C block will wrestle the second place of B block, and then the first place of D block will wrestle the second place of A block. So it should be more decipherable when you get near the end and you know who's in and who's out. But yeah, that's the other big piece of news.
Yeah, after though, so Jericho still hasn't given his answer yet though to Don Callis. He leaves the ring.
Oh, I will say just quickly about this promo about him and Bad News Allen. They showed an old footage of
That's
Don.
what I brought up
and
as well.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying Don and Jericho, but Don, back then when he was in WWE, he was even a manager and he was called the Jackal. Back when he was a wrestler and he wrestled as Don Callis, but back when he was in WWE for a cup of coffee as a manager, when he did still have that hair, he was called the Jackal, and he did reference that faction. Jericho was not in it at that time, but he was in it back in the day. But yeah, it was cool to see. I mean, just a cool piece of footage. Bad News Allen. I mean, getting some play on here, but yeah. And they're in Canada, so him getting booed out of the fucking town in Canada was, I mean, it's pretty cool. It shows how much heat this guy has on him right now. Coming at the end, I think, is Collision the final Canada show? So yeah, I think
yes, it is
presenting on Saturday. But yeah, good stuff here from these two. I'm glad it's now that we know he's not going to be in Blood and Guts, that it just didn't result in hot-shotting him into Blood and Guts. But yeah, I do like this and him trying to recruit nothing but the best into his new family.
Yeah. Then after this, we had the Jack Perry and Hook segment. It recapped both Forbidden Door and what happened post Forbidden Door. We then cut to the backstage area with Alex. Alex knocks on the glass. Jack Perry peeks out, kind of darting back and forth, saying like, "Oh, he's talking shit." Then out from the other side of the door, in comes Hook. Starts just like trying to beat up Jack. Jack then escapes. gets back into his
This-
car.
Jack
Um,
needs to like.
I feel like this has been great. Like in
Oh, it
my
has.
opinion,
It's perfect.
like in my opinion, he has had a new lease on life. Them just playing Tom and Jerry with each other, and him fucking running away like a pussy. And I just think this is fantastic. This guy's in the car. He's like, "This is an unsafe working environment." That's literally a reference to Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
I'm trying to.
When Bret Hart pulled out Shawn's hair and Shawn brought it to Vince's desk, put it on the table, and said, "This is an unsafe working environment." That's a big part of the fucking Montreal Screwjob story. But I love this. They're playing time to get Hook's fucking hanging out of the car trying to get this guy. He's running away, and this shit
Jack
is
needs to
fucking
lock the
hilarious.
doors, bro.
Do you guys think they well, no, he did lock the doors, but they were child locked. do you guys think they kind of draw this out and have the FTW match in Queens?
No.
For the 20th.
That's
way
that's
too long.
2 months away.
That's way too long.
Hey, I'm just saying though.
I
mean,
know, but
that's after-
that's way too long.
That's-
That's
yeah, that's-
after All Out and All In. I mean,
Wait,
that's
way
that's
too
not
long.
past that.
Never say never.
I don't even see that. I think that's just foolish for them because then people would get bored.
Yeah.
But anyway, I
I
mean Hook.
digress.
Hook wants this guy, bad, and I love how Taz is still gassing it up on commentary, like how Jack made a mistake because I love Taz's involvement in this, but. Yeah, this is going to be dealt with, I think, sooner rather than later. I don't think this is even going to the pay-per-view at all.
Okay.
So
You think this goes to Blood and Guts?
no, that's way too soon. I think sometime.
Okay, it's either too soon or too late. You gotta like meet in the
Well,
middle.
dude,
Well,
well,
that's
dude,
not
you
the
just
middle.
went from over 2 months away to literally next
because
week.
you have because you have someone's hometown, and then you have a
Up
big.
their hometown.
Then you have like
That-
you have one of the biggest televised events that they host.
Yeah, but they don't need to do that match because they're not gonna just have one match. These two are gonna have multiple. This is not a one and done type of feud here. They could have probably match number 3 at All Out or All In or wherever they do it or Queens. I could see this running. I very well could see this run to a Queens, but not number 1. I think number 1 is probably gonna happen within about a month. So maybe like 2 to 3 weeks from now, we'll probably get it, or at least he'll catch him. He'll catch him 2 to 3 weeks from now, and then set up the match. But yeah, I don't see this going all the way to Arthur Ashe without at least having at least 2 matches yet.
To answer, someone in the chat goes, "How did WWE not sign Jay White and Kota Ibushi?" Well, Jay White was thinking about it, but then he saw what was going on.
That's not. That's
and
not.
Kota Ibushi didn't know who Vince was, so
That's not. Well, Jay. I mean, everyone
I find
thinks
that
about
kind
it.
of
That
impressive.
Monday Night Raw episode, because Jay showed up on that Wednesday after that horrific Raw episode. That's not what happened. He signed, long before that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to WWE because there was interest in him, but it wasn't a thing where they were trying to actively fucking try and get him, because they were all in WrestleMania mode. Ibushi was never going to WWE. That was not happening.
Yeah, everyone knew that because legit, like, Ibushi didn't know who Vince was when he shook his hand at
When he was
the
at
Cruiserweight Classic, which is fucking awesome.
He said like he'd like think about it. Like he was like, if I could help people over there, I'd probably think about it. But he wasn't going because number one, he'd probably have to move to America, which he's not going to do. He's opening up a training school.
No,
in
they'll just
Japan.
reopen the new what is it, the NXT Japan lot that they were working on.
Well,
that they
got
scrapped during COVID.
They got ran. Well, they didn't scrap it. They got ran out of the country. Because everyone said we're not fucking doing that. But Ibushi, he wasn't going because he's opening up a wrestling school, which that's why it's not taken so long, but that's why he really hasn't done much besides the GCW stuff, is because he said he's not going to really do anything or like focus on AEW too much until his wrestling school is established. Yeah,
on.
it's like the Osprey thing too, because Osprey does not want to live in America,
Yeah.
and it's like I could see him getting signed by AEW and his contract's up and having some sort of deal like Pac does, but I do see him working something out with New Japan, and that's another thing that people forget. Ibushi and New Japan have actually mended fences somewhat, and it's not out of the question that he shows up in New Japan again. Not signed, but shows up in somewhat again.
And follow-up question goes, why are people saying Kota Ibushi is only going to be there one time only? It's because not many people pay attention to what Kota Ibushi has said.
And that's the thing about Ibushi, because I've been following and basically fucking studying this guy for years now. The guy is the best if the best easy way I could relate him to somebody or compare him to somebody is like if you're a sports player who's very private, who you don't know much about, like I have his jersey right there, but Lamar Jackson, right? Nobody knew he had 2 daughters until like last month, right? He's private guy. You don't know what he's doing. He keeps to himself. That's Ibushi. And he's kind of weird in that type of way too, because Ibushi's a very strange guy. As Zach said earlier, he didn't know who Vince McMahon was. The guy is kind of a nutcase. He beats to his own drums. He says he likes to be awake 25 hours of the day. So
the
that's
new Golden Elite shirt has
reason.
dropped.
Yeah, I saw that. But Ibushi is he's just like that. And that's one thing about this. As long as Omega's there, it's not going to be one time only. Ibushi said in many interviews that his main focus is AEW. He will be in AEW, maybe not signed, but he will be in AEW more than once, especially with Omega there. And all these guys he said he's wanted to face as well, who's in AEW. So, I mean, Takesha's even already teased the match with him because both of them have history when Takesha was a young guy in DDT.
Getting back on track, after the Jack Perry and Hook segment, we cut to backstage with Renee and Dawn. It's just your typical backstage thing of saying, hey,
basically, Dawn said, I'm going to announce the 5th member later.
Yeah. And then
also, shout out Groovy Red in the YouTube chat.
Cool. I'm not having the chat up on the screen anymore.
Mikey Sapiens rise up. Okay.
So they're the reason why the chat's no longer going to appear on stream.
You let people speak. Now I'm just kidding. Anyway, so that happens, and then Tony Schiavone basically calls Don Callis an idiot, and then Excalibur goes from one idiot to another, and then we transition into the next segment,
which was MJF and Adam Cole hanging out.
Tony Schiavone was on a rampage for like a minute there. It was fantastic.
You have MJF and Adam Cole drinking some tequila shots at a bar. 4, and I'm gonna quote MJF here, rats show up. And then pretty much MJF goes, hey, like 2 for me, and then 2 for you. Goes, I'm committed. I'm dating Britt Baker. Goes, fine then. Then 4 for me. Then all for me. It's insinuated that they all had sex. So there's that. And MJF goes
at least the man remembered to zip up eventually.
He goes like, Adam was so just like, Adam's like, I want to do what I want to do. And it's like, okay, so what do you want to do? Adam Cole whispers in MJF's ear. MJF goes like, what the fuck? And then we flash cut to them playing AEW Fight Forever.
So good. So good.
And for once, it actually seemed like they were playing the game, because that game is a button masher. You have to just select the fucking round with the controls. Is actually how that's supposed to look. Game is really fun, by the way. Get AEW Fight Forever wherever you get your games.
I second
not
that.
Sponsored.
Not sponsored, but I second that.
After this would
so after that we led into another glorious comment from Tony Schiavone. He says, "That's 4 minutes of my life I'll never get back."
I will say though about that segment. There was even like a little like wrinkle that is played on a bunch of MJF storylines. I mean, back to the Punk one,
Yeah,
to
that he
Danielson,
leads people
that-
into this trust
no,
bubble.
well, no, not. I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying about what he basically said. Adam basically asked him, "Have you never played a multiplayer game before?" And
Hmm.
he said, "You need friends for that." So, and it kind of got sad for a little bit, but he's brought that up in multiple feuds now. So this is like a reoccurring thing with MJF that he had no friends, and this is why he turned out this way, and all this type of stuff.
Yeah, I still I'm trying to figure out like when does like the shoe drop? Like
I
when does it drop?
I'm gonna predict they win next week against Sammy and Garcia, and then the shoe drops. I think it would be interesting if they went all the way with this, not as in win the tag titles, but they win this blind tag tournament. They get along and lose, like something happens at the very end of the match against FTR, and then either right there or the week after, just things implode.
Time to reform the Pinnacle, baby. Let's
I
go.
I can see.
I don't see that happening.
Thinking about the other way. I was thinking about the other way, where the shit hits the fan on the last match, and they lose, due to MJF, fucking them over.
Mm.
I think that's too soon, though.
I'm about to say because I have two, kind of for both. So that one was I'm thinking like they have the buck stops fucking with the finals. Sammy and Garcia advance, and then they could lose to FTR because then it would be a clean cut babyface versus somewhat heel team because Sammy's basically a babyface at this point. But because I don't know if they want FTR getting booed when it comes to MJF and Adam, because they're not nobody's gonna in their right mind's gonna boo at MJF and Adam Cole how over this has gotten. But I could see them going all the way and winning, and then getting screwed, like MJF screwing himself over with FTR. And I really don't think he would hook up with FTR again because they're with Punk.
There was
And Punk is fucking mouthing off at MJF with the stuff in the bag
I'm
and
trying
all that stuff.
because so I think it was a few episodes ago. MJF was wearing one of his kind of blazers, and on the inside there was the Pinnacle patch. Someone had pointed that out. There was a Pinnacle patch inside the jacket. I don't think he would have that.
Like the Pinnacle was cool, but they don't need to do that no more. Like
It was watered down by the pandemic.
Everything it wouldn't make any sense to bring him back because Wardlow's. I mean, that doesn't make fucking sense.
We'll see. Like,
Shawn Spears a babyface now.
You can't.
It would
Well,
just be him and MJF.
I'm not saying the whole faction comes back. I'm not saying like everyone from the old faction comes back. I'm saying like you build up a new Pinnacle.
Yeah, but
I mean, if you listened to that particular episode of Dax's podcast where he explains like what happened, it's there was definitely some missteps along the way looking back.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like I don't want a new Pinnacle because I think MJF on his own has been 10 times better than when he was with anybody. Even when he was with like Shawn Spears, when he just had Shawn Spears going after people for him. I think him by himself has produced the best shit that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need anybody. And I'm not trying to make it sound like it's bad, but to be around the world champion and MJF, but if you're standing next to MJF and you're not on somewhat his level, you're going to be undercut. And listen, FTR is one of the best ever, but they're going to be undercut standing next to MJF because he's the main guy in that group.
It all depends
they're
on where
the main
they
tag
take
team.
this.
They're the main tag team in this company. It's like Adam Cole is not undercut when he's with MJF because they're doing the same thing and they're playing off each other and they're bouncing off each other because fucking all this ends with them fighting again.
I'm only mentioning the fact that he had the Pinnacle patch inside of his blazer on one episode. You can't just overlook something like that. Because remember, every small detail we have seen in AEW has more or less meant something.
Sure, but that doesn't mean they should do it.
Well, it's whatever Tony has planned. You can't just, you know.
I mean, I know that he might have a plan, but it doesn't mean that it's a good idea, because it's
It all
you gotta
depends on
keep
how
these
he
guys-
takes it. You can't
you
just be
get-
like it's gonna be a bad idea off the jump.
Oh, I'm not saying. I'm just saying there's better stuff for them to do, separately.
Mhm.
Like MJ, like FTR right now with Punk, just fucking leave that alone. That just started. Collision's been on for 4 weeks. They're in a feud with the Bullet Club Gold right now. That shit is not even over yet. And this guy's gonna get involved with MJF. It's
I'm
like,
just saying.
no, I'm not trying to disagree with you. I'm just saying I'm just giving my point of view where it's like there's something. Listen, I wouldn't doubt it'd be cool, but there's logic and reasoning when it comes to they got these guys on one show. They're trying to make that show feel different. You're gonna have you have MJF and CM Punk probably on a collision course, no pun intended, but that's gonna break down eventually, and I don't think it should be now because this Adam Cole shit is fucking great. And if
Mhm.
they do get the title match, I don't see that going past one match because there's no way they're gonna get through that title match and be a team still.
Oh, yeah,
They're
no.
gonna have to start building to the pay-per-view.
Which also, we still don't know where All In is going to be broadcasted.
Yeah, they're taking their sweet time with that.
Yeah,
aren't
that's probably I understand why. That's probably gonna be a big announcement. Because in rights negotiation stuff.
That's probably
But,
it's probably going to involve a merger with HBO Max and getting stuff set up on there. I would feel.
Yeah, I think it all depends on Max and because that's a big time
I
type of announcement, because as far as I know, Max doesn't have any really live shit. So I don't think
Yeah,
they just have
actually don't know.
they just have live drops. I don't think they've ever had a live show on there. Because I'm looking at the website right now. There's not a live section with live stuff. Like I could see yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm trying to remember through it. I try to
Like I
remember
could see,
what it is.
I could yeah, I could see. Well, actually, I could see it basically. I could maybe see it where it's it's broadcasted on Bleacher Report because they still own that, and then the VOD will be available
Well,
on Max a month afterwards or something.
because normally by now, the pre-order for the pay-per-view would be up on Bleacher Report, and it's not.
Yeah,
It's
so
normally up there
definitely
like a
gonna be-
month out.
Yeah,
from
that's
the
definitely
show.
going to be some sort of announcement.
So we now have Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy taking on Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. This was just another stupid fun match. These guys are the future of this company going forward.
Oh yeah.
Darby and Sammy have their long tethered history. They did the Code of Honor before they locked up. Daniel Garcia was cheating a lot in the match. Sammy wasn't all for because Sammy is now a face. Technically.
At least they're trying to be with
Yeah,
him.
and I think they will. With Sam, I don't think Sam is going to get completely overwhelmingly cheered most of the places he goes, but I think he will return to probably about
He's just so easy to boo.
like a 60-40 type of thing. Crowd
He's
reaction.
such a good bad guy. That's another thing too.
Yeah. I think when when the buck finally stops with Jericho, when they finally do him and Jericho, I think that's when the crowd will get behind him.
Mhm.
But we're a ways away from that right now. That'll probably be
Yeah.
at All Out or All In.
But,
I think probably All Out.
This match
Because
though,
I see Sting, but I could see them picking that stuff up with Sting again, and then
mhm.
something happens with Sammy at the All In match, and then that's how they get to All Out.
Though now, so this match though was your typical Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, Sammy, and Daniel Garcia match. A lot of fun high spots, a lot of near falls.
Yeah.
The back and forth with Orange and Daniel was great.
Yeah, they really laid it on thick here that between Sam, because obviously Sammy and Darby have been involved together for a couple months now, even with the feud, the Pillars feud. But the mutual respect
They also had their
they
feud
have for
back
each
during the
other.
pandemic.
Yeah, but just this year so far, they've mostly been linked together.
Yeah.
But the mutual respect that's been growing between them, also how hard they hit each other and how hard they wrestle each other. It shows and it shows them how they want to one up each other.
Yeah.
So they really told the story with that. But later at near the ending of the match, Prince Nana came down to the ring with Darby Allin's skateboard and gave it to Daniel Garcia, and he told him to hit Orange in the head with it. As the referee was trying to get it out of his hands, Swerve gave the house call kick to Darby Allin right in the face. Him and Nana jumped
Vicious
over the barricade and escaped. Garcia threw Darby back in the ring and pinned him for the victory. After the match, Darby and Sammy shook hands, but this really did set up the main event with Nick Wayne and Swerve because obviously Nick Wayne has strong ties to Darby Allin. But this also set up the next match between Orange and Swerve for the international title because if you remember, Swerve kind of got cheated out of the international title because Orange did pull his tights. Yeah, Swerve was pulling his tights first, but he did pull his tights. So,
Yeah.
and I really do think Swerve is the best option to take the title off of. Orange Cassidy. I think back when they've had their original match, I think it was the best option. I really do think it's the best option. I don't know when that's gonna be. They could try to save it for the pay-per-view. But yeah, I really do think Swerve was probably going to end up being your next international champion since they're going back to him so quickly.
Well, I do agree with that. That 100%. I think that's probably the best option overall.
Wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't hate it.
After this, we
Yeah,
led into
the Nick Wayne vignette.
yes.
This was fantastic.
God help Nick Wayne if he falls into a program with Christian Cage.
No,
God
Jesus.
fucking help him.
Yeah, he
God.
will. He will. Oh yeah, he will.
Dad
Christian
collector.
Christian Cage already fucking got his notification on his phone and said, "Uh-oh. Kid's not got it. Doesn't have a dad."
And his dad
Whoopsies.
was famous too. Ooh.
Yep. So, but yeah, they showed clips of Nick training when he was a little kid. They showed him training with Darby Allin. They finally, it was last week. It was just Darby speaking, but this time it was Nick doing the interview where Nick, he explained the events where he found out that his father had passed away. He had heart problems and stuff like that. And then they showed clips of him wrestling all over the world, him wrestling Swerve and Defy, his GCW stuff. They didn't show this here, but he did just return from Japan. He just did a tour with DDT, which is pretty cool. He's been to Japan before, but yeah, he just did his first tour with DDT, which is actually really cool. But yeah, they showed a lot of like old photos of him, and how much his father loved him, and this was just a fantastic vignette for Nick Wayne. It's one of the best ways they could have introduced him. As a person who's seen Nick Wayne and has watched Nick Wayne for a couple of years now, probably about 2 or 3 years, when just starting to watch GCW and seeing some of his stuff in Defy and some of his biggest matches he's had on the Indies, like with Will Ospreay and Swerve, Christopher Daniels, the tag match he had with he's a part of a tag team with Jordan Oliver on the Indies called the East West Express. They had a lot of great tag team matches at GCW. But yeah, the kid he's ready. We're gonna talk about him a couple minutes later, but this was just a great thing for people to see, leading up to his debut later on.
Yeah. Next up,
And then we're in the back again with Renee.
yeah, and with Adam Cole. Adam Cole's on the phone with Max, trying to see where
Max
he
or
is.
Britt?
I don't fucking
Britt.
know.
Britt.
I wasn't paying attention
It was
fully.
great.
Because he was on the phone twice.
Yeah, so yeah, he was on the phone with Britt. He was basically saying, Britt, he was basically talking about the vignette where we're at the bar with the women. So yeah, then she ended up hanging up on him. So that was a little funny moment. And Roddy ended up walking up and basically questioning Cole again. He's like, are you really gonna be friends with this guy? And Adam Cole was like, hey, he really isn't that bad of a guy. It's like we didn't really get along when we first met, and now look at us with best of friends. But he said, but then he got a text from MJF that said, "Hey man, what about that double clothesline? Wait a minute, I just saw Brian Cage walk past me. I think I have the flu." And then Adam calls. He basically storms off. He says, "Listen, this guy doesn't have the fucking flu," and he just goes and tries to find him. But yeah,
This would then bring us backstage. No. Then bring us out to the arena with MJF, Adam Cole taking on Big Bill and Brian Cage. Bill and Brian Cage are a great tag team together.
Yeah, listen on Rampage. They had that match against Seidel and Trent. That match had no fucking right being as good as it was. That match was so fucking good. It was insane how good that match was. I was completely shocked. Seidel was working his fucking ass off, and Seidel hasn't been on a main AEW show in a little bit. He's been mostly on Ring of Honor, but he was working his ass off as long as everybody else. But that shit was great. That Rampage was actually very good. Also one piece of news I forgot to mention is that Brian Pillman Jr. His contract has ran out and he is now a free agent and he's at AEW. So best of luck to him on that.
Yeah.
Which that's probably the best thing for him, to be honest. Hit the indies, make a bigger name for yourself, and get back.
I think now we're gonna start seeing a lot of the OG AEW guys who were there in day one gonna start to fizzle out.
Day one in like early pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can see
it all depends on where they are on the totem pole, but I think a lot of like the pandemic day one guys.
It makes sense because those guys back in 2021, like 2020, 2021, they had 3-year deals, so it makes sense that a lot of them are coming up right now. That's usually the standard length of an AEW contract.
Yeah,
is a 3-year deal. So,
so we have this match with Cole, MJF, Big Bill, and
Cole was wearing the shirt.
Cole was finally wearing the shirt. I love that now MJF just tries to sync up with Adam Cole's boom every time. It's perfect. He does the lap around Adam Cole, gets down on his knees, and does the Roddy pose pretty much.
Yeah, this shit is so fucking funny. This is one of the best things going on in wrestling right now. In the match didn't really start for like 5 minutes. Like they wrote it all the way into the picture with teasing MJF doing this damn body slam on Big Bill and them doing push-ups in the ring. It was really funny. I mean, MJF, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and he's one of the best fucking comedy wrestlers in the world.
Can we talk about
how good this guy is?
I want to talk about the absolute biasness for Bryce here. For Bryce Ransomberg. He held Brian Cage back when Adam Cole was doing the push-ups, but did not hold Big Bill back when MJF was doing his push-ups.
I mean, this guy. I mean, if you haven't noticed, Bryce Remsburg basically has done every MJF match in recent memory.
He's also done almost every Hook match.
Yeah. So that's basically like MJF's personal referee.
I love it though. Like you have him hold back Brian Cage when Adam Cole's doing his push-ups, but as soon as MJF tries to do his and Big Bill kicks him in the stomach, no fucking reaction.
And you got fucking Shivani on commentary, lambasting this guy MJF. I mean, what the fuck is he doing wrong?
So good.
He kicks it in the stomach. Then they start going. And the match was really good. The match was really good. Basically, it was a lot more of a spot than like a full on match, but it was really good how they executed it because these guys are all fucking great. But they really built up to the hot tag of Adam Cole. Adam Cole gets the hot tag. He does what MJF does. He pokes Brian Cage in the eye. Pump kicks, pump kicks, pump kicks. He ends up setting him up.
Double
He gets the heat.
clothesline.
They were gonna do the fucking double clothesline. It did not work out because Big
They
Bill
got
and
double
Brian Cage.
clothesline.
Yeah,
twice.
exactly.
They got a double clothesline by Brian Cage and Big Bill, so that was very unfortunate. If you looked at MJF's arm elbow pad, which says something new really every time, it did say double clothesline on it. So Adam Cole ends up kicking Brian Cage into the ropes. It sets up Brian for the Heat Seeker. MJF hits the Heat Seeker on Brian Cage. Adam Cole lands the boom, and they pin Brian Cage to advance to the finals of the tournament. They then both get on the microphone, and basically there ended up being a double clothesline chant. MJF said, "Listen, it's coming. Trust me. The double clothesline is ready to go."
I love these moments when MJF acts acts like a face. I love these little moments.
Oh,
Yeah.
him acting as a babyface while he's being a complete heel is the best thing ever.
Mhm.
It's fantastic.
Except because it makes it was like it's all when the shoe drops. It was like with him and Punk with the dog collar match. When that shoe dropped and he like busted open Punk or Punk bladed very poorly, it made that moment beautiful. So now like when it comes to him and Adam, like once this shoe drops, it's gonna be like amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So yeah, basically the promo was one big rah-rah speech of how they're really good friends now. I think this is gonna work out. Even in like when they were playing games, like we're both gonna turn on each other, but dude, this is fucking sweet.
Then you have Roddy backstage.
Yeah, Roddy. They showed Roddy
Shaking his
backstage
head.
looking at it. But then at the end, they did their catchphrase. MJ said, "Because we're better than you," and then Adam Cole said,
Baby.
"Baby." and
Baby.
They celebrated, which this was fucking great. I mean, these two have been the best part of this show, besides the BCC Elite feud. This has just been fucking great. This might be like one of the best things maybe the best thing Adam Cole has done in AEW so far. This has just been fucking gold between these two.
Oh yeah.
There's just two because people forget that Adam Cole ain't a fucking pompous, arrogant piece of shit, chicken shit heel, because he was that for about a fucking half a decade. So, and he hasn't been a babyface in a very long time. So, yeah, this was really cool because he knows how to play the game.
For those of you who have not seen, you gotta watch the MJF AEW.
That was great.
That was
Awesome.
fucking
That was great.
wild.
RJ, I want to talk to the people. I want to let them know the real
I want to
me.
be me. Okay, I understand. MJF gets up, just lights the fucking site on fire. Cool.
So good.
After the tag team match, we go to backstage with Renee and Jake Hager. They're outside Chris Jericho's locker room. Jake enters like, "Hey, like, what's going on? Are you really thinking about this? Because if you are, like, you have to realize you helped my career. Like, I saved your life in Abu Dhabi and with WWE, which I completely forgot that story. It gets brought up a lot.
I can't forget that story. He brings it up all the fucking time.
And then
And then he told the actual story behind it, and it's just like, wow, that's actually not that good of a story.
I still love the story of him getting kicked out of Brazil for stepping on the flag.
Kicked out of Brazil, bro. That guy was gonna get fucking killed. They weren't gonna kick him out. They were gonna fucking
They almost
kill him.
legitimately arrested him.
They was talking about beheading.
Jesus.
Yeah, I remember that when it happened because I was a new fan at that time when that happened. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
But Jake's like, "Hey, like, you helped my career, you brought me into here, and everything. But just if you're gonna do this, and I don't think I can." And he takes his hat off and gives it to
No, I refuse to accept that this is over. I'm not doing it.
And gives it to Jake, which is like
I'm not doing it.
I get it. Like, one, ever since Dustin called him Jericho's bitch, he has not been able to live that down, to be honest. He also
I like that hat.
he also has turned into an idiot because of the hat. I think a more serious Jake Hager going forward with this should be apparent, in my opinion. Like, don't make him be like this blundering fool.
I really, to me, I think he's gonna end up getting the hat back.
Yeah,
But-
of course.
But this is my thing. I want him to keep it, and I want him to do it as long as he can, as long as it's over. Because let me tell you something right now. Jake Hager's at the spot of his career where he's got a lot less in front of him than he does behind him.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably the most over thing he's ever done besides We the People.
Yes.
A serious Jake Hager.
Just
Is
until like Jericho figures his shit out.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, a serious Jake Hager is not gonna do anything for anybody. I don't think that he wouldn't be. He's more interesting with the stupid fucking hat because people actually give a shit about it than him just as Jake Hager because he does really nothing more to it because you have like Wardlow, you have Lance Archer, you have fucking you have like Luchasaurus and Brian Cage and Big Bill, who are all these big, but even Keith Lee, who are all these big guys that are somewhat like him, that are just way more interesting than he is.
Mm-hmm.
And the hat lets him have a fighting chance at that. And I think because, like, when they put a Jake Hager match on the card, it's like, all right, cool, Jake. But that's really about it.
Yeah.
Like the hat, like that was those matches when he wrestled. I think it was like against Claudio or something. When he wrestled the hat, when he kept trying to put the fucking hat on, and like wrestling with the hat, I'm like, that shit was fucking funny, and that was good. Because if it was just Jake doing Jake Hager stuff, it's like, oh, okay. And it's not a knock on him because the guy's a good hand. It's just, well, I mean, he's at that point where you can't really do much beyond that.
But
Yuta just tweeted, "I'll beat Ibushi's ass too." Mm-hmm. This guy's gonna take fucking everybody's finish and get fucked over.
After this, we have Ruby Soho taking on Sky Blue for the semis of the Owen Hart Women's Tournament Cup. Good match. Like,
Yes. Oh,
I think it's like Ruby can't blend well with Britt. She can't.
I really enjoyed this match. Sky Blue. Let me tell you something about Sky Blue. Her improvement over since I first saw her on Dark in the pandemic days till now is very, very good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she has improved so much. She's so solid in that she's a lot more fluid in the ring now. It looks like she's like got her footing and she's not in slow motion. She's so good. She's young. I believe she's only 23. So she's got a lot in front of her, and if she's getting this good now, in about 2 to 4 years, she's gonna be one of the better women in the division.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've really been impressed with her development. As well as I will say this because of what happened on Collision, because Collision, Willow and Athena couldn't take place because Willow had a minor injury, so that match was moved to Rampage. But I'm actually kind of glad that ended up doing that ended up kind of like getting pushed back. I wish it did happen, but it's like it kind of made it more unpredictable because we don't know where this is going. And now with the winner of this match, I think we have a good idea, but it kind of helped the match out a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But
I do wish Sky Blue did pick up the win because Ruby So in the end did get it. I personally wanted like a Willow Sky Blue final. I think
I get what
I think that
get what they
the
did.
two women to lead the charge for AEW after these day oneers are gone should have been like your headline for it. But that's once again, that's just me, and I digress on that.
Yeah,
But-
that's because that's the thing with the day one guys. I mean, that's still a long ways away. Like a bunch of the women who are day one, AEW, like day one AEW girls, like Britt and Sheeta and somewhat Statlander. She came in like the first month. Statlander,
Nyla.
and Riho, Penelope, the Bunny, um, like all them. They're not going anywhere.
Well, I'm just mentioning. I'm just thinking of like putting your next top.
No. Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying
Talent
like
over.
Sky Blue. She still has a long way to go.
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah.
not going to be the women's champion anytime soon. So Ruby, going back, I could see Ruby winning. I really do see Ruby winning. Not see. I didn't. Not saying she's guaranteed win, but I think her chances are extremely viable. With this victory though, with Athena and Willow happening, I do think that Willow has probably clears the way for Willow to a clear shot for Willow probably to win the
Yeah.
the tournament. But I because then if Willow does win, and I mean obviously Punk's a baby face, but he's kind of in between. I mean it depends on the crowd. But Ricky is a clear cut baby face, and Punk is positioned as a baby face.
God,
So
I hope
I don't know if they
Ricky
want to do.
wins.
I don't know if they do want to do, like last year they had two baby faces go over at the time. Well, Adam Cole really wasn't a baby face, but I mean he kind
No
of
one
was.
can boo Adam Cole.
I mean he was wrestling Samoa Joe, who's a heel, and he was there with his girlfriend. So he really kind of wasn't. So
I don't remember Britt being a face last year either.
she was. Well,
She wasn't. I
they
think she was
both of them were basically fucking
tweeners.
not tweeners, but not even tweeners. Just like they were like heels when they had to be.
Well, so Adam and Britt both for that tournament both were heels. And I think by the end of it, they all turned.
They were because they were like barely heels.
So
yes,
yeah, but Ruby picked up the.
But I could see the only reason I do see Ruby having a really good shot of winning now is because I don't know if they want to have her lose in the finals twice in a row, twice a year. I meant back to back
It
years.
could be like she needs to finish her story. There you go.
Yeah, ugh, I'm had enough of that. But
Adam Cole was still a full-on heel at that point. 'Cause
Yeah,
Forbidden Door
you're
was
right,
like 3
yeah.
weeks later. He was a
Yeah, you're
full-on heel
right.
again.
I'm got mixed up because of Samoa Joe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say that about Ruby. Ruby winning could actually be something where it's helpful because then you have because then you're going into Wembley, which obviously is probably going to be Jamie and Tony.
Yes.
That's definitely going to happen. But on Dynamite, you could have like a mini feud between the Owen Hart Cup winners within the Outcasts and because they would both have an open Owen Hart Cup winner. They would have for champion and former champion and Jamie and Tony. Then they would have Ruby and Britt who won the Owen Hart tournament. So then they would kind of be evened out. And then they have Saraya and probably Sheeta, just to be like their heavies. But I could see them doing something like that. And the only thing about Willow winning, because I could see Willow winning, and like this isn't like this tournament doesn't get somebody a title shot, but
No.
like Willow just lost to Tony Storm. So I think Ruby has a really good shot at winning when you think about it now. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of just a wait and see.
After this, we had the Collision recap. Just recapping the shit that went down on Saturday.
Before
I
we
will
move
say,
on,
though,
I
that
would just
fucking
like to say it was a very good Collision show again.
Yeah, and let me tell you something.
Oh, yeah.
That Bullet Club Gold, Jay White,
Oh.
Switchblade Jay White, and Juice Robinson versus
So good.
FTR.
FTR match was
Beautiful.
one of the best tag matches all year, maybe the best tag match I've
So
seen
good.
this year. That match was fan-fucking-tastic.
Kept you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, that match.
Oh yeah.
They got a damn near like 35 minutes. That match was one of the best, maybe the best tag match all year.
Yeah, they went
And-
at least 28
and-
minutes from
yeah.
start.
And
Start of the match.
they're going again 2 out of 3 falls. on Saturday, which
Sign me up.
that's gonna be fucking unreal. I really can't wait for that.
Too bad I have to work on Saturday. Son of a bitch.
After the recap, we had the
We had QTV.
Harley Cameron can rap. Let's be honest here. She can rap.
That had to have been at least somewhat auto-tuned. Had to have been.
No, she did the same shit on the Rampage.
Well, yeah, I will say that I've known about Harley Cameron for a little bit. She wasn't ever on Impact, but she did do the Peyton what was it, Cassie Lee and Jesse McKay, Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, the Iconics. She did do their entrance theme, and she did perform it at Bound for Glory.
Yeah, so she's good at what she does.
Yeah, she's a real deal singer. She's like I think I don't think she was in NXT. I don't know if she worked for them with like in the music. I don't know what happened because I know she's dating Zion Quinn, who got called to the main roster. He hasn't been on television yet, but he's in NXT. But I don't know if she was signed by NXT or did something with NXT. But I know she had musical stuff to do with that. But yeah,
this also was a very provocative music video.
I will say this though. I mean, she's talented, but I don't really give a shit about any of this right now. I mean, the best thing about it is fucking her trying to go after Bowens, which is the funniest thing about it. And I really don't think this needs to be a Dynamite type of thing. I think this is like a Rampage.
Yeah.
This is a Rampage type of feud. Like the Acclaimed, they're kind of just doing this to stall the Acclaim out till they can get to the House of Black again. Well, the House of Black are doing whatever they're doing with Andrade and his mosque. But yeah, this was I mean, they didn't need to do this.
Also,
they could give somebody else more time.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
We also forgot to mention that on Collision, Miro did his promo, and it talked about going after a title. I think he's going after Orange Cassidy.
He didn't say a title. He said,
"Oh my God, that's legit."
He didn't say a title. He said he fears a big battle is coming, and I don't know what the fuck that meant, but he said that he senses a big battle coming. Never said a title because he said he renounces his title.
Well, his title as the Redeemer.
Well, there's that, yeah, but
that's
I don't
what
think
he means by his title.
Okay, because I don't think he's gonna be going for a title anytime soon. Because obviously with the Swerve is. I mean, I think it's clear as day that that's where they're going. Swerve's gonna end up winning the title from Orange Cassidy. I mean, they wouldn't have done that shit they did tonight if that probably wasn't the case.
True.
There's the TNT title with Luchasaurus, but that's a heel. Miro's kind of a tweener, but still they have shit to do with Christian and Luchasaurus. I could see Miro going after that, but I don't know if you want to do a title quickly. I would actually kind of rather see him have a quick little feud before he gets to a title. With who? I don't know yet. When he says, I fear a big battle's coming, I have no clue who the fuck he's talking about. Luchasaurus
They're doing a New Japan invasion again.
Yeah. What New Japan talent?
Exactly.
That's not in the G1. Who are you gonna fucking get? Fucking Dick Togo? He's gonna show up. Yujiro Takahashi. He's gonna come in there with fucking his pimp stick.
Hell yeah!
To fight Miro. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway.
Guys, check the chat real quick.
Just bring out Peter. Come on.
Check the chat real quick, because what I sent you is legit.
What the?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
That is legit.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Let me tell you something though.
Remember when
she's smart because you know why? Some stupid fuck's gonna buy it.
He's gonna buy it.
No, see, that's like when freaking Liv Morgan auctioned off her whip from Mania that she had for her entrance. Do you remember that shit? Went up for like 10 grand.
Some stupid fuck bought it.
Yeah.
And some stupid fuck donated a lot of money to charity. This one
supposedly
is just going to the pockets of Mandy Rose, but I digress. God.
Some
Anyway,
idiot's gonna buy that.
If
yeah,
someone
after
will.
this, we finally had the in-ring debut and the official AEW Dynamite debut of Nick Wayne,
This was very
the
good.
prodigy of professional wrestling,
Mhm.
who's been all around the indie scene, GCW, DDT in Japan, House of Glory, Wrestling Revolver,
He is the youngest
all
signing.
Defy. Yeah, he is just turned 18 on Monday. His 18th birthday was Monday. He's graduated high school. I mean, we talked about it when Darby showed him gave him the contract at Defy that he had to graduate high school and turn 18 before he could debut on Dynamite. And hey, 2 days after he turned 18, here he is on AEW Dynamite wrestling a rival of his from the Indies in Defy, Swerve Strickland. If you haven't seen that Defy match between Swerve and Nick Wayne, it's very, very good. I mean, Nick gets bloodied up. Swerve holds his head up and he points to his mother and stuff like that. It's a fucking great match.
Their one match from Defy is on YouTube. The one from a
Yeah.
year ago.
Fucking great stuff. But yeah, this was extremely exciting. This was a very, very hyped up debut. I mean, Nick Wayne has been talked about. If you haven't seen Nick Wayne, you've probably heard of him. But as tonight, he showed you why. And let me tell you something. For a kid who's 18 years old, who, I mean, funnily enough, I mean, they even said on commentary, he's already been in the ring with guys like Osprey and Takeshita and Aussie Open and Commander.
Nick Gage,
and
for Christ's sake.
Nick Gage, fucking Speedball Mike Bailey, Joey Janela, all these guys. This is a kid who, 16 years old, wrestled Will Ospreay. Oh, he's 16 or 17 years old. Wrestled Will Ospreay. Next day, sitting in fucking geometry class. Does that make fucking any sense? No. But
Well,
he does.
what was
He's
it
doing
like? He he would wrestle like a hardcore match, and then show up to like class the next day, just scrape the fuck up.
No, that was actually Billy Starks. Billy's that was the Billy. I remember that from a video package. But no, he would obviously be bruised up as well. But it's cool how Billy Starks and Nick Wayne, because they're obviously very similar in age and how they came up.
Yeah.
But how they explain how they got around schoolwork. How fucking Billy Starks was I mean, she is insanely smart. She was the valedictorian in her class. Which it's funny because my valedictorian is now a groupie and a pole dancer. And that one is a fucking pro wrestler. So I don't know what. So maybe we need to pick our valedictorians a little bit differently.
I can't believe it. Someone has already posted. Do you know those videos that we share? Like every time, whenever AEW does good, it's like the Knicks fans outside of the Garden, just doing like just being wild, and it's from Tiger Style. If you guys follow them on Twitter, they've always known to post wild shit. But you got Kota Ibushi and Blood and Guts. Damn, it feels good to be elite with the video of like the fuck the Fed, and then like you got like the fuck Triple H. Don't you not regret not coming to All In? God,
Damn, it feels good to be elite.
Fuck it, I'll download and post this later. Absolutely love this shit.
But I will say, just getting into this match now, I love the entrance of Nick Wayne. Darby came out, gave him a hug, sent him on his way. His mother was in the crowd. His mother's usually in the crowd for a bunch of the GCW shows and the Defy shows. So she's been seen before, but his was nice. His mother was in the crowd. But yeah, this match got started off hot. They wasted no time on this one. This match was fucking excellent. Excellent debut for this kid. He if you didn't understand the hype about Nick Wayne, now you do. And he showed everybody why he's so raved about.
Mm-hmm.
But the spots in this match were excellent. I mean, the fucking poison Rana from the top rope, the power bomb off. Well, that's the finish. We'll save that. But the poison Rana off the top rope, where he did the poison Rana, and then Swerve got his leg on the rope for a near fall, and the crowd thought it was it. That was an excellent near fall.
Those house call kicks are stiff.
Yeah, the Wayne's World he hit, which is basically Osprey's Os Cutter, Super Os Cutter. It's called the Wayne's World Jordan Oliver on the Indies is tag partner. Also, it's called the Clout Cutter for him. But
Mhm.
he hits the Wayne's World. Swerve gets his foot on the rope. Great near fall. He's literally going tit for tat with Swerve. He's one upping him on some points. Just fucking great shit. But the finish going to when he tried to do the top rope Rana and Swerve just plants him with a fucking thing, and then he hits the most vicious house call kick I've ever seen him hit. I love this move. When he did it at NXT, I adore this move because he jumps in the air, he stalls. He just basically stalls in the air, like he pauses like for a little millisecond, then he fucking just lightning kicks you in the head. He fucking hit this kid so hard it sounded like a gunshot, and it basically sent them across the ring. I kicked his fucking head off. But yeah, he hit him with that. He gave Nick Wayne basically like the penta arm breaker thing, which always looks nasty.
And Nick Wayne
Darby
sold it perfectly too.
He's like trying to like call Darby because Darby came out near the finish, trying to cheer on Nick Wayne, but then Swerve hit the JML driver, pinned Nick Wayne for the victory, and Nick Wayne never had to win this match. I never expected him to win this match because this was not about Nick Wayne winning the match. It was about him showing what he could do and who he is, and he did exactly that. He lost nothing. He gained everything within this match. It was his first time on national television in front of this giant of an audience. And he fucking killed it.
Your first time on national TV, and you are in the main event.
Main event, yeah, he fucking killed it. Guy looked like a veteran out there. No, he's not green at all. I mean, there's pictures of him in 6 months old in wrestling boots on. He didn't look green at all. He looks like a fucking ring general in there, like a veteran, like he's been doing this forever, which he has. But I mean, it makes no sense for a kid as old as him to be this good, and the fact that he hasn't even hit his peak yet, and what do you hit your peak when you're around fucking 29, 30 years old? This kid's got fucking over a decade till he hits his peak. That's extremely scary. That's scary. How good this kid's gonna be.
I'm making a bold prediction right now. There's gonna be a ladder match at All In, and he's gonna be a part of it.
I could see that, and I'm gonna make a prediction too. I believe a Nick Wayne will be in a world champion wherever he is.
Oh, yeah.
Within I'd say before he's 30. I would say before.
So they're looking at 10 years?
Before he's 30, before he's 25, he's going to be a world champion somewhere.
Yeah.
This kid is that good, and he's going to be even better as he keeps developing. This is a great... I mean, Tony posted the graphic. Nick Wayne is All Elite. We knew that for a while, but it's finally official. But yeah, he has the graphic. He is All Elite. And yeah, this is fucking unreal match. Great stuff here from Nick Wayne. I can't wait to see what he does in AEW. And I have a feeling that this isn't going to be like an Action Andretti thing where it's like he has this big moment, then he does like Ring of Honor stuff, and then he shows up every now and then. I think Nick Wayne's going to be like the Takeshita, like somewhat similar to Takeshita, where he's such a phenom that he's so good that the fans get behind him and he's so over where he's basically has these, maybe he's not winning all the time, but he's having consistent matches on Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage, where you just see him a lot, and then he ends up in a big type of feud.
Now, I don't know if this was just me, but like at moments, Nick Wayne kind of looked like Will Ospreay in this match a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's his favorite wrestler.
Like,
so
he his facial reactions to things.
Absolutely. And listen, Ospreay is his favorite wrestler. I mean, he said that. That's why he wanted to wrestle Ospreay. That's why he got to wrestle Ospreay. Because he was not allowed to wrestle on the GCW Hammerstein show because he was not 18 in New York. But yeah, so he loves Ospreay. I mean, his finishing move was Ospreay's old finish. But yeah, if he could take the greatest parts from Ospreay and all these guys who had brought him up, he's gonna be something special.
Oh yeah. Then after this, we had
the Rampage Collision next week's Dynamite rundown.
Yeah, we have Lance Archer taking on Trent.
Yeah, we have Lance Archer taking on Trent Beretta. We will hear from the Dark Order. We will have Konosuke Takeshita in action. We will also hear from the AEW Women's World Champion Toni Storm, and we will have Naturally Limitless Dustin Rhodes and Keith Lee versus 2.0 Daddy Magic Matt Menard and Cool Hand Ange.
Then Collision,
Angelo Parker.
we're having.
Before she say Collision, the Lance Archer thing, I loved how they showed his stuff that he was
Yes.
doing in Rev Pro and
Yes.
New Japan, because he's been so dominant in New Japan, and he really needs to get a lot more television time.
Yes, he does. On Collision, we will have the rematch FTR versus Jay and Juice Bullet Club Gold. 2 out of 3 falls for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. I'm going to eat that shit up. We will have CM Punk versus Ricky Starks in the Owen Hart Foundation Men's Tournament Final. We will have Athena versus Willow Nightingale on Rampage this week. Forgot that one. In the second semifinal to determine who goes on to face Ruby Soho on Collision. We will also have there was an announcement for Battle of the Belts. Luchasaurus will face Shawn Spears right after Collision.
Yeah,
So
that's gonna be
10
like a
p.m.
3-hour. That's gonna be like a 3-hour Collision, basically.
Yeah, so I'm expecting either one or two actually, I gotta get together. 1 or 2 matches to be announced on Rampage. If there's only one, and
There's
expect
going to be a
a
TBS
third
title
one.
match.
Yeah, expect a third match announced
It's
either
probably going to
on
be
Rampage or Collision.
It'll be 3 matches.
It's going to be
Yeah.
the TNT title, the TBS title, and the and the international title.
Mm,
Maybe.
I feel
Maybe,
those
yeah.
are the ones
I
that we're
could-
going to get.
yeah, because they're doing the tag match. They could do you can do a trios match if they wanted to.
They could. Then
They could. And then next week, Blood and Guts.
So yeah, we now have the moment we've been waiting for, which was which is like seeing who the 5th men were gonna be. Don Callis comes out. He starts saying, "Oh, I picked someone out, and someone who's going to just brutalize Kenny Omega." Kenny Omega then comes out, and out from behind him comes Pac. A lot of
Yeah.
people predicted this guy to be the
You
5th man.
finally showed up in the chat. What took you so long?
Yep.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, actually, he was here earlier. He was here earlier when I was doing the Fight Forever gameplay.
Ooh, nice.
He was here earlier.
Thanks for
Pac
the support, Tom.
Pac is a fantastic choice.
Oh, he is.
Yes.
Like
For the-
the reason why I
It's
wasn't
someone I actually never even thought of, to be honest, because I didn't really look
So-
at anything.
I wasn't for this because I saw a lot of people talk about it and people like mentioned Pac. I'm like, because what my analogy of the Blackpool Combat Club is, it's people who have gone to war with each other. Like essentially, it's guys who have fought wars with each other. You have Brian and Mox have fought wars with each other. Then you have Mox and Claudio. If you go back to the WWE days, they have. Oh, I did not tell him about the characters that I made yet. I need to redo that whole entire stream. Apparently, your buddy wants me to create us in the game, so very
Oh, boy.
limited creation suite there. Like you have that, and you have, of course, Wheeler Yuta bleeding buckets upon gallons of blood with Mox. That's what I built. Like the Blackpool Combat Club is guys who have bled with each other and who have fought wars with each other. That's why I thought, okay, Chris Hero, solid pick. He has done the Kings of Wrestling with Claudio, and that's another like carrot to wave in front of Kingston.
The only reason I'm so out on Chris here is this guy's been wrestling for 3 fucking years. Put him in Blood and Guts. Fuck that.
That'd be an epic comeback.
He was like,
That is not the match you do if you haven't wrestled for 3 years.
no, he's like, he had an interview on Fightful this past weekend. He said he's been training, he's been doing stuff. It's not like
Yeah, but
he hasn't been
Yeah,
wrestling.
I get it, he's been training, but you're not training for no fucking cage match where you're getting fucking tack bumps. and blades fucking sliced on your forehead.
He's fought in CZW and like fucking Chikara.
Yeah, how many years was that? How long was that ago?
Those scars still last.
Mm-hmm.
Those scars and those
They healed,
memories still live on.
He's still backstage at Collisions, right?
I
Think so.
think
Tony made a tweet said he was chipping away at him, trying to get him back in the ring. I never expected him to see him here, but because
I only threw out him because he's a carrot to put in front of Eddie Kingston.
This Eddie Kingston, he don't give a fuck about this.
No, he fucking does. He's in the
G1.
But if you involve two of the guys who he hates, like he hates the shit out of, it will light a fire under him.
Well, yeah, I'm saying I know that, but he don't give a fuck about the Elite either. He don't give a shit. He's in Japan right now doing the G1. He don't give a fuck about no blood and guts match. When he's back, he'll give a fuck about what the hell they're doing. He's got to fucking fight. He just won the Strong Openweight Championship. He's got to fucking do the most hardest tournament of his life. He don't give a fuck about no match.
Do you guys think there's a point at which if the same person bleeds often and it makes it lose its effect on the impact of the match?
I would say anymore. It depends how much they bleed and how often.
Not anymore, because I used to be that way, where it's like I wish they would save the blood for moments where they
wish
should.
I wish
like it's
Cody
a more
looked
dire
at me
moment.
the same way he looks at a gig blade.
Yeah, I wish sometimes earlier on I was like, yeah, maybe they should save it for more dire, but they do it so much, and I see it so much on the indies. It's like it doesn't do anything to me anymore, because if you get into a fist fight on the street, chances are you're gonna end up fucking bleeding.
Fucking
so
hell!
I really the blood all over the place really doesn't bother me anymore. I'm just numb to it at this point.
I was watching SmackDown last week, the one that was from the Garden, and I'm so used to blood in AEW, like the spots where Jimmy was getting the shit kicked out of him. I was like, there's gonna be blood there. Oh no, he took like 8 headshots to the fucking steps and he's not bleeding. Come on, what is this?
Okay, yeah, that I can understand too.
Because AEW has desensitized me.
That, and plus, I just thought about this as well. How often do you watch a movie where somebody gets beat up and they're basically coughing up blood at that point?
Sometimes I watch movies, not all the time. I try to watch.
Oh no, I don't watch that many movies either. It's just like shit happens, people bleed.
But but then just blood for me. Like AEW has ruined my perspective on wrestling with blood. Cause I'm used to this gnarly spot's gonna cause blood, this and that's gonna cause blood.
That's my thing to it now. I just don't give a shit anymore. It's like blood happens. I mean, that's literally my thing on it. If you fight somebody in the street, you're fucking gonna bleed.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
I really don't mind.
I love how the
the only thing I don't want is like the way I explain it is like the only thing I don't want is like fucking Cody and Dustin type blood in a match that doesn't warrant it.
Listen, Cody.
So if there was a blood feud fucking match between Moxley and fucking Eddie Kingston, and they had a bloody match like how Cody and Dustin, that's completely warranted. But if they did fucking, I don't know, fucking Hangman versus fucking AR Fox with all that shit, I mean, it's like, what are you doing?
Speaking of
Zach, are you and I thinking of the same thing here?
Speaking of Eddie and Mox, so someone had posed a thing on Twitter. I think it was Hang 'em High, the guy who did the AEW Fight Forever tweets as it was coming out. He had mentioned that Mox and Kingston should have a dog collar match. And Mox and Kingston, you either have that dog collar match in front of 65,000 people, or you save that for All Out. I think
that I can get behind, because I thought you were going to go like they should have a dog collar match in like a month, and I'm just like, Nah.
Oh no. I've already I totally agreed with this.
Excuse
guy.
me, not a month, like 2-3 weeks. But that's enough time to build it up.
Follow-up questions. Not for the gore effect. I am talking about how blood can show more of an impact on the match, meaning that it adds more impact to the match. But if a person uses it as a go-to, then it has no meaning. Yeah, it's like Mock sometimes does it as a go-to, but like it's not like it loses the effect. Like blood for me, every time I see blood in a match, I get hyped. I go,
No,
okay.
yeah, that's my thing. Blood does nothing for me but enhance it. Like I don't
Yeah.
get like fucking like pissed off when I see somebody bleeding. Like I never
Even
like
if it's
I'm like I'm not
overused
gonna see somebody
or-
bleeding. Like if it's like an overuse spot, it's like if somebody starts bleeding, I'm like, oh, he's bleeding. I'm like, oh shit. It's literally my first reaction all the time is like, oh shit, he's busted open. That's literally some guy could fucking scrape his fucking Julia Hart could fucking scrape her knee on the fucking announce table. Like, oh my god, she's fucking busted open. Holy shit.
Yeah, if
So,
you guys
yeah.
go back into, if you go back to the hit list Facebook page, like me and Nick and I think even Christian got in on the joke saying like, man, I wish Cody would look at me the same way he looks at a gig blade, or wish I had a girlfriend that looked at me the same way Cody looks at a gig blade, because Cody, like, he would gig like a fuck ton, but like, doesn't it get boring? Like, not necessarily. It depends. If the match doesn't warrant blood, then I'm like,
I don't really get bored of it. I mean that, as I said, it's fucking blood.
Yeah.
It's just,
so, but
if you get
I don't think I would get bored of blood.
if you
But,
get hit,
wrestling show.
yeah, it's like if you get hit, and if you get hit, like I fucking fell into a pool by accident the other day, and I scraped my knee. And there's blood all over the place. Shit happens. I mean, what am I did it? What am I gonna fucking do? Hit my knee and go and start doing that shit? It's like,
but
I don't get bored of it just because like, just have it. It's blood. It's fucking.
Yeah, Zach,
we-
before you
it's
move on, I
human.
love how AEW's like most infamous blood incident was accidental hard way with the chair.
yeah, that spot still kind of rings in my head. The Cody chair shot, that like still rings in my head.
And the fun fact, that was a gigged chair too, and that shit still happened.
Yeah, it was a gimmicked chair, but like it was the positioning of the way Sean came down.
Yep.
It was that's what fucked it up. But okay, back on topic. So Pac is the fifth man added to the team, and
That's
as
a great
Hype.
choice. Great choice because the Elite fucking broke his face earlier in the year.
Yeah,
yeah,
makes
great-
so much sense.
Literally makes a ton of sense
So-
for him to join up.
so they're kicking the
And
shit
he has
out
history
of-
with he's got history
Wait,
with
actually,
all of them.
no. Wasn't that tail end of last year that happened? Because didn't he
'cause
wrestle?
No, because because
Or was that in
the last
match
match?
7?
Like the last match was like the Kia Form Show, which is like the fucking like one of the first. It was in January.
Didn't he wrestle part of that best of 7 series with the broken nose?
Yeah, he had the face mask on.
Okay, yeah. So that had to be tail end of last year.
No,
If
it
it-
was. It
it
started.
was literally-
It ended. It ended in January. I thought
Hold on.
at the Kia.
Yeah,
Forum.
didn't it end the first or second Dynamite in January?
Yeah, that's what I said.
And he wrestled with that.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So then it happened late last year. Because remember, they didn't have it the first week. They had it the second week. Match 7, match 6 was the last show of
I think
2022.
he got it on the Chicago show. I think that's when he got it. I think it's the third. The
That was
third or-
early then.
The second or third when he got it is when it happened.
Where's Cage?
Yeah. So okay, that was late last year then.
So they busted his face up. And listen, it makes sense because the Elite broke his nose. He's got a fucking problem with him. They have history. Him and Kenny have one of the most tenured histories of just an AEW feud together. Out of anybody.
I still think about their All Out
him
and
and-
Iron Man
yeah.
matches.
Him and Hangman have a history. Him and the Bucks have a history with the Death Triangle and stuff like that. And I mean, the only one he doesn't have a history with is Ibushi.
Yeah, this guy didn't even like cross my mind because I didn't even know he was
Mhm.
medically cleared yet.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Pac.
The last match was January
The winner
11th.
take all match. Yeah, because they didn't have a match January 4th.
Yeah, they're like
And he went into that match definitely with the face mask still on.
Yeah.
the best of 7 went from November 19th with Full Gear up until January 11th of 2023.
That was a great match.
So
Gear
so
one.
as Pac's coming down, they're about to Mox. So
They're kicking the shit out of Kenny
Mox,
and they're choking
Mox
him
and
out.
Mox and Takeshita are beating up Kenny. They
wrap
put
a
Kenny.
chair
They
around
put
his
they
neck.
they wrap a chair around Kenny's neck. They're about to pilmanize Kenny's throat and neck. And Pax gets on the top. Gets on the. Don even got a shot in, but and then he hurt his foot, which is funny. But Pac gets on the top rope, better about to deliver the Black Arrow. And Mox asks Kenny, "Do you have any last words before
Check the
we
screen.
break your fucking neck?"
It was
And he
we
goes,
still have a fifth
yeah,
member.
we still have a fifth partner.
Check the screen.
Check the screen.
Check the screen,
Lights-
you bitch.
Lights go out, and all of a sudden we get the subtitle that says "He's coming."
coming.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, "Holy shit!" And I heard the music because this is part of his new theme. He has a new theme. And then you see the shadow of fucking Ibushi fighting. Then they show finally Ibushi. Crowd fucking came up. Crowd erupted for Ibushi. They showed clips of Ibushi. I know. I didn't expect him to be there because he's. I mean, they would have to get him a Canadian visa, and that would have been a whole other thing.
Yeah.
When they're getting him a U.S. visa, which he has. But I mean, I don't know if there's any trouble with that. But yeah, so the lights come back on. The Bucks, the Bucks super kick, Takeshita, and the Hangman hits a buckshot lariat on Moxley, and yeah, the crowd is going nuts because Ibushi has finally been confirmed. Hangman gets on the microphone, starts talking shit to him. Kenny gets on the microphone, says this ends next week. All this ends, and you could hear Moxley. They had to like bleep something because he's fucking like "fuck you." He's like, "What the fuck you mean, Ibushi?" And he's like, "You bringing up Ibushi? Fuck you!" And then I don't know where Yuta and Claudio were, but yeah, this was cool as shit because finally we have the confirmation of Ibushi. But the
God.
fucking this is the best blood and guts lineup we've ever had.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have the talent involved in this match. God, I wish Brian was a part of it.
It's also
but
finally
I mean,
the
probably
elite
the next best thing.
are in a blood and guts match.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we have Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, the Young Bucks, and Kota Ibushi versus John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Konosuke Takeshita, and Pac. That's a gigantic fucking lineup. But
My
Kenny
God.
did say one thing, said after we're done with them, I'm finally gonna get to you. And he was talking about Don. And that's how they went off the air, and I thought this was excellent.
God,
Yes.
Finally,
good.
Ibushi.
we talked about this last week. I think it's unanimous though for the rest of the week goes to Nick Wayne
Nick Wayne.
because he made his debut. I think that's no other person's getting picked. He deserves it. I can't wait for next week. Hell, fuck with Kota Ibushi in AEW because I'm making this apparent. I'm going to Grand Slam. I am fucking going to Grand
Let's
Slam.
go.
There will be no episode that day.
Let's go.
I fucking hope Kota Ibushi is still around for Grand Slam when we get him at that show. I would fucking cry.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, appreciate you guys all for watching. I'm starting up like the backstage arcade. It's the YouTube series for
We have one last question from Tom.
Oh shoot.
He's like, remember when Ken Shamrock took that face chair shot from The Rock? You guys would probably know because I do not.
I know that one, yeah.
Seeing that.
That's that famous clip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have the wrestling like AEW Fight Forever stuff up on the channel. Got 2 episodes so far. You got a short from episode 2, which was just taking a selfie with Sting. That probably is my favorite clip that I got. It was too perfect. There's a lot of those moments in the coming episodes because the selfies are just so stupidly funny and how they get taken. Other than that, though, appreciate you guys all for watching. And yeah, okay, let me get that end screen stuff up. Close that out. But we will see you all next week for Blood and Guts. The Collision reviews are going to be put on hold until schedules are perfectly lined up. But of that though, appreciate you guys all, and peace out.